VF Commodore Evoke ute. This is the entry-level model, but it still has a lot of the special additions that have come out with the VF Commodore over and above the previous version, and that is electric steering, which has got a much lighter but very evenly weighted feel. With that, you've also got front and rear parking sensors, a standard reversing camera. This is across the entire Commodore line, not just this vehicle. And of course, once you have the electric steering and the front and rear parking sensors, that allows the addition of auto parking. And it's actually quite handy, especially when you're driving a vehicle like the ute, because the ute is a little bit longer, it's a longer wheelbase. Press the parking button. Okay, so it's found one for us. Put it in reverse, hand off the wheel, and you can just keep an eye on the screen. Have a look around at your surroundings. Just take it nice and slow as I come up to the car. This looks like a very tight park. Now this is probably a park that I would be unlikely to attempt normally. There we go. That's a pretty tight park, and it took 2 goes. And I probably wouldn't have done that without the auto park. But the most attractive thing about this is that it's still a ute, it's still a work vehicle, it's still got a very big tray in the back. Even the tonneau is waterproof. One thing they have changed with the VF Commodore is previous base model utes used to have a 3-litre V6, but they've now gone to the 3.6-litre V6 as the base engine, and that's a good choice because, let's face it, this is a work ute. It's not primarily focused on economy. It needs that little bit of extra grunt, especially when you've got a full tray in the back. So they moved up to the 3.6-litre and the 6-litre, and they are better for it. Economy is still quite good. I'm getting around about 7.5 litres per 100 k's on this trip down to Brisbane, and I've done a bit of a detour out through Landsborough as well, so that's not just straight highway kilometres. You can probably notice as well that it is actually very quiet in here. They've gone a long way with the introduction of the VF Commodore to reduce noise within the cabin. They have additional seals on the doors. They've improved the sound deadening in the wheel arches as well to remove some more wind noise. And it's a very comfortable place to be, which is quite handy if, for example, you have a long trip in the mornings to get to work. I know a lot of people, a lot of tradies you'll see, if you do the drive on weekday mornings, if you're on the Bruce Highway at any time after 6 a.m, you'll see a lot of tradies doing the trek from the Sunshine Coast to Brisbane, and of course going north as well. So if you have a long trip to work, you don't want to turn up to work feeling like you've been riding in a truck for the last hour and a half. If you're doing the trip to Brisbane in one of these, you're going to get to the other end feeling fresh and ready to work, rather than turning up to work feeling like, oh, I'm back at work, somebody help me. Another really good feature on automatic Commodores is the remote start. So you can just hit the lock button on your remote and then hit the start button, hold it for a few seconds, and the car will start for you and it will sit there running for 10 minutes. So if, for example, you were a Victorian and it was cold in the mornings, you could start your car from the kitchen and get the heater running so that you're nice and toasty warm by the time you get in the car. If you're a Queenslander, however, you can also do the same thing if you're at the work site. 10 minutes before knockoff, start the car, get the aircon going, so when you get off site you can hop in the car and it's nice and cool and very comfortable. So that's a nice addition, especially again for a work vehicle.
So what happens there? Yeah, have you taken the photograph or just set a timer? Or?
No, it's filming.